Good morning. We have a tree here on our property. It's kind of just to my left. It's not the one you can see. It's a little bit closer to me. But it's a relatively young tree that has a very thin trunk, thin enough that children can almost fit their whole hands all the way around the trunk. And one of the favorite activities for children to do here at Wildwood Nature School is they like to grasp that trunk and use their arm, kind of like their radius, and then spin circles while hanging on to the tree around and around and around the tree. And so I am sure that you have seen this happen in your setting with whatever is available to your children in your setting, where children might roll themselves down a hill or just back and forth on the floor, maybe in the middle of your group or your circle time or whatever you are doing, um, or just spin themselves in circles without the aid of the tree, um, or um, maybe they are, draping themselves backwards over a chair or a bench, again, whatever you have in your setting. And you're wondering, all you're going to do is get dizzy. What is this? So I am Nicole Trillis Rabel, and this is Wildwood Teaching. And today we are going to get into the nitty gritty of what is this? What is this? It's so much fun to get dizzy behavior because we are in the midst of a series of videos where we are exploring schema play. We started out with a video just kind of generally going into what is schema play, why is it important, what are children learning from it. In a nutshell, a schema is any repetitive behavior that you are observing from a particular child that ends up being a clue, right? If they are repeating this behavior over and over again, they must be getting something out of it. So schemas, when you're observing them, are a clue to what a child might be working on intellectually or physically that you can then build on as a teacher. We covered, let's see, in previous videos, we covered positioning, connecting, trajectory, transporting, and closing and enveloping schemas. And so today we are going to take a deep dive into two sort of related schemas of rotation and orientation. So now is the time, if you have it, to pull out your PDF guide that we've been using in previous videos. It's the same guide. I also have it attached to this video if you haven't downloaded yours yet. And remember, it's a very basic one-page guide that for each schema shows you the behaviors that children might be exhibiting that are clues to you. If I see a child doing this over and over again, maybe they are playing within this schema right now. The next column lists the concepts that children might be learning or working on when they are within that particular schema, so that you can know, okay, here's how I explain to parents or an administrator, or here's the bigger concepts that I can now bring to the forward with the children. And then that last column is for you to fill in specific ideas. What materials are you going to bring in? What kind of vocabulary are you going to use around the children? What kinds of provocations do you want to set up? And that column is blank. I am going to go over some ideas in this video of things that I have done in my setting, and hopefully those become a jumping off point for you. You are welcome to use my ideas and put those in that last column. But I'm not in your setting. I'm not working with the same children that you are working with. So these are ideas that I hope you will take and adapt to your own setting, or say, oh, okay, that idea gave me a completely different idea. And then I hope you will not only use it, but let me know what it is. Um, so that maybe I can have that in my head for the next time I'm observing this particular schema in children. So let's get into it. So rotation schema, um, pretty easy to uh, wrap your head around. It is basically how things rotate, right? Their bodies and other materials, right? So you're learning something about physical science there. Orientation schema is all about perspective, right? So how does something look from different angles? So if children are hanging themselves upside down, they're exploring how the world looks from a different angle. Now, most of the time you're going to see this manifest itself in physical gross motor play, right? When children are rolling down a hill or swinging up high on a swing. But this can also manifest itself when children are exploring objects. So maybe they are turning a faucet on and off, or the light switch on and off. How does it look when it's light? How does it look when it's dark? Or maybe another perhaps challenging behavior. Maybe they tip something over, right? To look at the bottom of it, right? Here's how my drink looks in the cup, and oh, there's the bottom of my cup. So, obviously, when children are doing this type of behavior, they are developing spatial awareness, they are developing balance, they are developing coordination, which seems like a physical skill. And it is, but it's also about eye-hand coordination. And that eye-hand coordination is a very important emergent literacy skill, because in order to write from left to right on a page, in order to track from left to right on a page, you need to be able to orient your body in space and be able to move in a particular direction, right? You can also see how children are working on basically how things work, right? How does this particular faucet, right, what's the mechanics of it? So you're going to be thinking about those learning goals as you work to support it. So very helpful here is to think about maybe some simple machines, right? So this is when you bring out your ramps, you bring out your wheels. My kids love to roll the toy trucks down this hill. Um, and so, what can you bring to a dirt area or to the ramps? Maybe doing it also within your sandbox, right? Can you bring the ramps into the sandbox? And I hope you're seeing, as we're getting to the end of schemas, that there's overlap. Just like anything else in early childhood, you can see an overlap between this rotation and orientation schemas and perhaps transporting schema. Um, so this is also a time to take advantage of being outside to get into some large, messy art, right? So take out the paint rollers and let children roll paint across the surface. Rolling pins work well. We've had where we lay basically adding machine register tape on the ramp and let children dip balls into paint and roll the balls down the ramp so that they are painting while they are looking at that rotation schema, um, putting tops, spinning tops in paint, or taking acorns and rolling them onto a tray. Um, you might want to also explore topics in weather or a light and shadow unit, because you then want to look at the power of the wind to move and to rotate things like pinwheels, like your weather vane, um, or water is another thing, right? Your water wheels that are going to cause something to rotate. Um, you're looking at light in terms of reflection, in terms of refraction, when you're either using the water to do that or bringing out mirrors. This is the time to find that type of rotation in nature, right? Can you find spirals? Can you find cones exhibited in nature? And then take those, roll those down the ramp. How do they roll? Um, you also might want to bring out tools that change perspective, right? So magnifying glasses, binoculars. We like to bring our mirrors into our sit spots and see how they change perspective. Sometimes just a simple frame in a shape that children are then looking through can also change their perspective. So this brings us to the end of our deep dive into all of the schemas. So I hope you have a lot of ideas in that last column on your PDF. And as you start to key into these behaviors in children, that it's starting to make sense to you. About how you can support it. So please, if you've got some great ideas that pop into your mind, connect with me on Facebook, connect with me on Instagram. If you're not already following part of our newsletter, get in touch with me because I am always looking for new ideas. And then be sure to join us next week for another episode of Wildwood Teaching. I will see you there.